Hey guys, measures of central tendency is today's topic. The standard is MGSE6.SP.3. Okay, so this slide has a YouTube video on it, and I could click it and you could hear it as it played, but you could not see it because I've already tried this like 5 times and it's not working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this video out to you and share it. It's an extremely cheesy video, so duly note that. All right. However, I do want you to watch it because it does go over everything that I'm about to go over, just in a funny, cheesy way with frogs or toads. Okay. So today's main topics are the same three: mean, median, and mode. Mean and median are the measure of where the center is. So both mean and median, anytime we're talking about the middle of the data or the center of the data, those two are the ones that we use to describe that. So they describe the middle or the center of the data set. And mode, he's thrown in there with them. He's a measure of central tendency, but he, like in that video that you should watch, he's the cool guy, okay? Because he's the most popular one. He's the number in the set that's occurring the most amount of times. All right, on this slide, I have hidden my face. The camera is still on, but I've hidden my face. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but this side is all about the mean. So the mean is also known as the average, kind of like when I tell you, hey, you're average in this class. That's actually the mean. That's the technical name for it. So you get the mean by adding all the numbers in the data set together. You take every one of them, you add them, then you divide by however many numbers are in that set of data. So down here, I've provided you guys with an entire set of data. We've got 3, 5, 5, 6, 12, 2, 4, 5, 7, and 3. Now, typically I would always, no matter what I'm doing, put all of these numbers in order from the smallest to the largest. But since we're finding the mean or the average, we don't necessarily have to do that. We can just take them, and the first thing we do is we add all of them together. So I took and I added all these numbers together, and I got 52 when I added them. All right, so then the second step, and this is how I found your class average too. The second step is to take that total, so I got 52, take that total and divide it by however many numbers are in the data set. So when I go back over here, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 numbers. There are 10 numbers in that set. So I took 52, divide it by 10, and I get 5.2. That is my mean. So the mean is 5.2. And it is okay to have a mean that is a decimal or a whole number, either one. That is just fine. All right, go get your notebook. If you have not already found it, go get your notebook. And I want you to open to the next available page, and you're going to title it Measures of Central Tendency. This is your title. So you're going to write this title right here in your table of contents as the next topic. So for example, when I turn back and look at my table of contents, I had volume right before this. So you've got volume, then you have this measures of central tendency. That is your table of contents topic, okay? So then turn to that page you're going to plan to put it on, and I want you to pause this or stop this and start copying these notes. So I'm telling you that measures of central tendency, the measure of where the center is, that's what it means. And the first thing that we're going over or we're writing in our notebook is the actual mean or average. And I've basically written what that last example was that I went over over with you was. So I've just basically written that down. So I want you guys to copy this, okay? And then don't put your notebook away. Don't put it away, because I got 2 more things to add in there, okay? All right, next up is the median. So what is median? It is the middle, the literal middle. If you guys, when you ride down the 4-lane, the highway, you know that grassy patch in the center between the north and southbound lanes or east and westbound lanes? That's actually called the median of the highway because it's in the middle. That's what it is. So in order to find the median of our set of data, we're first going to put all the numbers in order from the smallest number to the largest number, and then we're going to find the middle number. It's pretty easy peasy. So if I start out with this set of data, 3, 5, 5, 6, 1, 7, 2. I got to put them in order first. Now, when I'm putting my numbers in order, I always look at my data set and I'm just going to start counting. Naturally, I'd start at 0 or 1, and 1 is first, so I'm going to mark it off as I use it. Because if I don't mark it off, I'm going to forget it. Then I've got 2, 3, there isn't a 4, 5, 5, 6, then I've got 7. Now I can clearly see, hey, I've used every one of those numbers. They're all marked off. I've used them all. Then the second thing I'm going to do, so step 2, is to find the number in the middle. So when I'm looking for the number in the middle, I'm going to go through, and I'm just going to go left to right. Mark off 1, then 7, 2, then 6, 3, then this top 5. And guess what? Boom. There's my middle number. I can clearly see that that 1, 5 is the center. He's the only true one middle number. So the median here is 5. All right, time to get that notebook back over, and we're going to copy down our notes over median, which is the middle number. We just went over it. And this is the example I actually did with you guys. Now, if you've watched the toad video already, then you know that sometimes there are 2 middle numbers when we have an even set of data. Like if there's 10 numbers in my data set, there's not one true middle. I'm going to get to what to do in that case in just a second. So go ahead and start copying these down now. Let's continue with median. So what happens if we have an even set of numbers? So what if the data is an even set of numbers? Like there's 8 numbers or 10 numbers or 12 numbers or 20 numbers or 100 numbers. Hopefully there's not 100 numbers. Can there be 2 middle numbers? It's possible there's 2 that you see, but there's a number in between them. We just can't see that number. Sometimes it's easy and we can figure it out. Like if our 2 middle numbers were 7 and 9. What comes between 7 and 9? 8, okay? But sometimes it's a little tougher. And this is what we need to do when we can't figure out what the middle is, when we see 2 of them. So this is the case of the 2 middle numbers. It's a problem. So when this happens, the first thing we're going to do is take those 2 middle numbers, whatever they are, add them together. Then we're going to divide them by 2. We're actually finding the mean or the average of those 2 middle numbers. It's kind of cool. So we're kind of doing like mean and median at the same time. So for example, say I have the data set 3, 5, 5, 6, 1, 7, 2, 1, 3, 5. What's wrong with it? They're not in order. So that's the first thing I got to do. Order the set of data. Don't forget, when we order the data, you guys know, like, we come and go 1, write it down. 2, write it down. Or, sorry, 1 again. 2, write it down. No more 2s. 3, then another 3. No 4s. But look at all these 5s. Wow. 3 5s. So I'd write down 3 5s. Then a 6, then a 7. Make sure you're noting them all, okay? So always mark them off so that you can ensure you have everything. Then we're going to find the middle numbers. Well, when I go down through here and I start checking these off, my 1, my 7, the other 1, the 6, the 2, the 5, 3, 5, uh-oh, I have a problem. Because I see there are 2 middle numbers. Now, I can count pretty good. I've been doing it for a very long time now. And I know what comes between 3 and 5. And you should know that too. But in case you don't, and to prove it, we're going to add those 2 numbers together. So 3 plus 5 gets a total of 8. Okay, so now that I have 8, over here, if you recall, it says now take it and divide by 2. Well, 8 divided by 2 is 4. You guys should have already known that because I count 3, 4, 5. So 4 is the middle number. He's the median. Back to the notebook. So the next thing on your notebook or in your notes, you already have all of this, or you should have already taken that, okay? So now you guys are copying down all this right here. Now I managed to fit all this on one page. Now I'm doing this with like my cursor, my little mouse pad on my laptop. So that's why this is not perfect. So you're going to copy down the 2 middle numbers rule. And I use the exact same example I just went over with you guys. You just have to copy it down, okay? The last of the 3 is mode. This is a huge slide. That's why I have turned the video off so you can't see my face on this one because there was nowhere to put my face on the slide. So this is the most occurring number. Mode is the number that occurs the most. It repeats more than any other number. But here's the trick. It's possible not to have a mode at all, to have, quote, no mode, or it's also possible to have more than one mode. So there's a lot of scenarios here. I'm actually going to give you 3 different scenarios. So here's the first one. So I went ahead and I put all the data in order. So we got it all in order. I've got 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, and 5. Here, the number 1 occurred 3 times. So it occurred 1 more time than the number 2 did, and 1 more time than the number 4. And it occurred a lot more than 3 and 5 did. Therefore, the mode is 1. So the number 1 repeated more times than any other number. But look at the second scenario. So here I've got the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, and 12. None of those numbers, not a single one, occurred more than any other number. Therefore, there is no mode here. None of them repeated more than any of the others. In the last example, I have 0, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5, 6, 7. Here, the number 2 occurred 3 times, so he repeated a lot, and the number 5 occurred 3 times. They both occurred the exact amount of times, and they repeated more than any of the others. So they both occurred more times than any other number, but they both occurred the exact amount of times. They tied. Therefore, the mode here is both numbers. 2 and 5 are both the mode. So it's possible, again, to have one number as the mode, no mode, or more than one number as the mode. All right, let's finish up these notes with mode. So mode is the number that repeats the most, and it's possible to have more than one or no mode. Then I took those 3 examples I just did with you and I wrote them down for you. I managed to fit all of this, you guys, on one page, okay? So I managed to fit it all on one page. So make sure you can fit it all on there. If not, just turn the paper over and write on the back. No big deal. I want to wrap it up today with the Mean, Median, and Mode song. This song will get stuck in your head, okay? It is kind of put to the music of the Lazy Song by Jason Mraz. So I hope you enjoy it. And yes, just like I typed right there for you, it is my hope that this song gets stuck in your head and you find yourself singing it for days. Because it's the Mean, Median, Mode, and Range song. So we're going to look at range over the next few days too, but it's thrown in as a preview.